What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 10 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Drazhoath the Ashen Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have completely wiped out the death toll ogres who were being so annoying to us, and now these sorts of factions that declared war on us together, the Caravan of Blue Roses, the Death Toll, and Clan... something, I've already forgotten their name, but I suppose it's not important, have all been destroyed, punished for their ways, and we move on towards fighting the lizards. We also got the debut Battle of Drazhoath the Ashen's new units of Kadai destroyers, and we have sighted ourselves a big old pile of labor, and by the looks of it. A bunch of vampires of various kinds, a bunch of necromancers, tons and tons and tons of units, possibly more than we can cut our way through, but I'm sure that I'm very excited to try, so we're gonna. Anyway, let's see what we gotta do this. Oh wow, we still got a lot to do this turn. Alright, so let's start the doing. Drazh, you can't reach the enemy immediately, so you're going to pop into an camp stance and go right to the edge of this territory. I wonder if we should declare war on them now and see if all four armies will just attack us together, rather than allowing them to hit Fort Redclad. The problem is this: there's a limitation on the amount of armies you can face off against at once, right? So... I mean, on the other hand, if we fight them together here, we can fight four and then immediate... Oh, wow, you have 2 Terrorgeists? Damn. 2 Terrorgeists in a Varvik. That's a solid army from the Ghoul King. Kind of impressive. And admittedly, that is a lot of Graveguard. Drazh has had some concerning experience previously with fighting tons and tons of Vampire Count's armies, but anyway, he's got a much better army now. I'll think about it. For now, we got other things to do, namely, it's time to attack the lizards. So, Malhot Traptor, you, Raptor, you are currently at war with nobody, and you're trading with the Itzitza tribe, who are just going to hate us more, but that was always going to happen. We're going to besiege you here, declare war. Like so, with the Gabos, and we'll see if you're willing to attack us. You've got a solid stack of Cold One Riders, Reviv Crystal, Croxies, tons of Swords, some Temple Guard, and we're certainly going to have to work on bringing you down. We do fortunately have several of our own armies, and do we send both in? We can only have 40 units on the field. I guess we could just sort of say no to the laborers. Let's do that. Still move both armies in. Most of them are still full of basic units. And then I'm curious afterwards, will this still be... Pyrrhic victory now. Oh, don't tell me they won't be willing to sally out like this. Well, we'll see. If they're unwilling to sally out, I guess we could attack them potentially, or we could move one of these armies past it and move on towards the Scalded Swamp. There is that potential as well. Anyway, Nabua, you, I believe, still have to move. Go grab this shipwreck, see if there's anything useful out there for you. Like the little Chaos Dwarf ship. And explore the island. We should be able to auto-resolve this real quick. Let's also give one of these Razor Standards to you guys. Auto-resolve, and take the... I'm going to say... it's not a lot of labor, but we are looking to... Actually, are we looking to rush things right now? I'll take the labor. Maybe I should have gone money, I don't know. Here's the thing, right now... Okay, yeah, free money, there we go. Right now we have for 5 turns the build infrastructure forges, so it might be better to wait the 5 turns and do all the infrastructure we can before moving back towards the... whatchamacallit, sort of tower rushing that we've been doing for that conclave influence, so you gotta consider that. Anyway, Drazh is good, everybody else I believe is good. And I don't believe there's anything we want to spend, including the armament, so we'll spend the armament somewhat next turn. If we're going to fight all these armies at once, we probably want to power up our troops a teensy bit more, just in case. Otherwise, I think we're ready to end this turn, unless I'm mistaken, and see if these guys attack us. And where these guys go is also going to be an interesting question, as they'll probably sail somewhere, and hopefully we'll be able to shadow them with Nabua here. Oh, speaking of Nabua, you got a point leveled up, and we do want to put it into armor. No, you know what? Just in case, let's get your Root Marcher. We don't know where these guys will go. They might also march stance and try to move towards the Bay of Storms, which might work for us. These guys haven't escaped, though, so they still think they have a chance, clearly. Anyway, alright. Let's see how they react. Also, while the turn is ending, engagement threshold was more or less reached, and oh, I forgot about H.H. Jarbaz. Yeah, engagement threshold reached and remains. This will be an hour-long episode, and for the next hour-long episode, 350 likes and 60 comments. I think it was originally supposed to be 400, but then I kind of botched it and whatever. 350. That's what we're going with now. Anyway, settlement besieged, Bay of Storms. Let's see where these particular lizards are in the turn order. I notice we're also down to 274 factions. Did we start with 550 or 500 or 450? I think we started with over 500, but I could be wrong. Anyway, there has been a significant drop in the number of factions on the map. I suppose that doesn't necessarily mean that the turns will get all that much quicker, because it's just bigger factions taking the same amount of space, so it doesn't really change anything. But of course, other than a couple of occasional turns where I do talk through those said occasional turns, I'll still be editing out all of those long end turns. And I guess it helps me out a little bit too, in the sense that I don't have to talk to fill the space of the turn ending. Although it definitely does feel like it isn't taking nearly as long as it was when I had just started up. I think we've shaved at least a minute, maybe two, off of how long this takes. Maybe switching between different factions, even if they don't have a lot of armies and stuff, takes a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra processing power and all that sort of stuff. Which explains the slight cut down, and it looks like the lizards will not attack us. Interesting. I don't think I've seen them, but I also don't think they're way at the end of this. Yeah, they're not. Alright, so surprising. Surprising they didn't sally out. Convoy encounter. We get... Whoa, hello. And we have no choice but to fight them. Damn, what is this? Organ guns, iron breakers, longbeards, iron drakes, gyrocopters with brimstone guns? That is a much better army than ours, and we have no choice but to fight it. Go figure. Also, I assume that we have... Why does this show... Oh, it's just showing this versus this, that we have no choice either way. Alright, I guess we got to survive somehow. Let's try a massacre at us, since I did slaughter sounds nice last time. Alright, Convoy, close defeat. Yeah, those Iron Breakers, that's gonna be an issue. Iron Breakers versus basic Chaos Dwarf Warriors, not so great. Obviously, and once again, it's gonna be up to our monsters to do the thing. Really gotta get that organ gun destroyed before it can do too much damage. Brimstone guns, we're probably gonna have to waste our Black Dragon chasing around, unless we can knock them out of the sky with the Hobgob Archers, though I fear that might not be super effective. And they got 25% fire resistance as well. Anyway, sure to be an interesting fight, so here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Should be a pretty interesting fight, I'd wager, and, well, we do have to be careful about the way that we approach this. While we can certainly win, it isn't just a matter of winning, it's a matter of winning well enough so that we don't suffer too severe damage to the convoy. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off. We'll try and damage as many of those Iron Breakers as possible with a nice Black Dragon Breath, which takes about 60% of one of the unit's HP. Absolutely needed, as these guys are just so ridiculously difficult to bring down. 77 melee defense and 125 armor, expert charge defense, and charge defense against all, yeah, and that's discounting the blasting charges that they have. Anyway, the way that we're approaching this battle is this. We are more or less completely surrounding the enemy army. The Hobgoblin Sneaky gets moving in from the sort of back, the Vargulf and the Rat Ogres moving in from the right flank, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and the Man-Eaters moving in from the left, and of course our main army pushing up to the front with the Goblin Laborers being sent out front so that they take the brunt of any damage. We're going to start the battle off with the summoning of the Kadai Fireborn right into the midst of the enemy organ gun so that they don't fire. A nice volley into our Goblin Laborers from the enemy fire units, which it's kind of ridiculous that we don't have any flamethrower units, but anyway. As in the Chaos Dwarfs. Yeah, it's alright. At least our Kadai Fireborn will be more or less immune, well, maybe not immune, but won't take all that much damage from the fire units. Although they potentially could still take decent amounts of damage. The Fireborn surprisingly only have 40% fire resistance. I think it's silly. I think they need to be bumped up nearly to Phoenix levels, as opposed to the same exact fire resistance as regular Chaos, well, at least Infernal Guard and all that sort of stuff. If Chaos Dwarfs generally get 40% resistance, Kadai Fireborn, who are made of fire and lava, are they really should have a bigger fire resistance, shouldn't they? Anyway, looks like the battle is certainly going in our favor. All the enemy units are surrounded and engaged. In particular, we've stopped the enemy Ironbreakers from getting too many blasting charges out, and those blasting charges that went into our Laborers, so that's just fine. Our Rat Ogres are going to back off. I was surprised to see that Rat Ogres are a tier 3 unit. Don't get me wrong, they're good, but they're also extraordinarily fragile, so, yeah. It just surprises me that they're tier 3. For example, Vargulfs are also tier 3, and I would put Vargulfs above Rat Ogres, and just in comparing Skaven units themselves, the Death Globe Bombardiers, who with a single volley can basically obliterate most units, or at least most infantry units, are a tier 2 unit, and Rat Ogres are tier 3, which also kind of surprises me. But anyway, our Summoned Kadai are doing good work at distracting some enemy Longbeards and allowing us to sneak up and fire into the back of other units with our blunderbusses. We continue sort of holding down the enemy Ironbreakers as best we can. Hopefully we can get some good old-fashioned Ironbreaker versus Ironsworn action at some point. And yeah, these Ironbreakers here have been fighting a unit of Hobgob Sneakygits and the Shaggoth and the Man-Eaters with great weapons, with their Bonebreaker and their Armor-Piercing, for the entire battle. These were the guys that attacked this left flank, and they've been fighting them the entire time. Credit where it's due. Once again, gotta be impressed with the Ironbreakers, but we got our own Ironsworn who look cooler. I don't think anyone would disagree. Those helmets are pretty fantastic. Anyway, the Longbeards, unlike the Ironbreakers, will not hold out nearly as long and will start breaking. The enemy army will, in fact, the entire enemy army will iron break, and the battle will be ours. Beautiful. Beautiful. It looks like it all worked out fairly well. We have sufficient monster units in this army now, or monsters and monstrous infantry units in this army now, to do quite a lot of work with just them. The dragon was not really present in this particular battle, really only getting that one dragon breath out, and otherwise spent the entire battle chasing that gyrocopter with brimstone gun around. But preventing it from firing off any shots was probably pretty darn valuable, so I'm happy. Alright, there we go. A very, very nice fight. I really enjoyed that, and, well, we did still have to be very careful, but fortunately we did manage to pull it off without suffering too many losses. I would hate to lose Garmrandash, our convoy master, our best convoy, to some randos. We are... able to heal up nearly to full, but this is a decent chunk of change, and we are trying to build stuff up, so maybe we risk it and ransom the captives instead. I hope I don't come to regret this. Hopefully there isn't another super solid army standing against them. Anyway, faction destroyed, Krakow Ravensvak. Yeah, I don't know who that is. House of Zark has been destroyed. Ooh. It looks like they've been overrun by Arbal. Oh, huh. I was expecting them to get overrun by the clan Krizorskaven, not by Arbal. And Arbal is technically Khorne. Oh, but he's in territory that we want. I don't know, man. We do want to ally with Khorne, and he's actually willing to go straight up into a defensive alliance. Do we let him keep the Ashridge Mountains? You know, I'm going to have to think about this for a turn or two. Because it's a 4-settlement province, which would be a very solid province for us. Granted, he could maybe guard these sorts of territories here, but he has presence in the Darklands, and I feel like all the Darklands belong to Drazhoath, so I'm not sure yet. Anyway, seasoned campaigner for Gromrandash. Lovely. And in fact, speaking of Gromrandash, he will have leveled up, so let's get him... I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe sale value of cargo now. He is probably going to actually get some actual sales of that cargo and got that hotter furnaces and armaments output, so more armaments per turn and more income. Just a little bit, but every little bit counts. Damn those Nurgle plagues. New convoy contracts, great Taurus now for Gromrandash. He can personally contribute to the fight in a way that he wasn't able to do so. We have 1 turn until he arrives, so I think he'll be okay, and he'll reach Nagranath. Technologies. What's up next? Now, I guess since we're here... Oh, we have the surplus, which would enable us to get something in 1 turn. Is there something that would really help us? The finest leaders isn't too bad. Let's see. It would allow us to move towards signature spellcasting and that miscast base chance reduction, which is not too bad. Starved Wolves is kind of meh, but Hobgoblin Quartermasters, on the other hand, is very solid. I don't think we want to waste it on this one. At least I don't think so. Although the maximum convoy cargo capacity will soon begin to be useful. Let's see, base research point cost is 400, research point surplus, final research point cost 212, So basically we have just enough to do this in 1 turn. Fine, I mean, I guess we were trying to try to increase our convoy capacities and whatnot, so let's get this for this turn. Actually, you know what? Let's actually get Industrial Revolution. The thing is, we are wanting to upgrade some factories while we still have the build infrastructure forges up and running to build said infrastructure in the factories, so I think it's probably the better pick. And we are starting to drop in raw materials now, which was expected, but it does mean we'll need to pick up a few... You can reach them, yes? Yes. A few... What was I saying? Outposts, there we go. Now, all of this. Okay, I see this army has actually not moved, which is kind of surprising. You are going to start moving this way then, towards them, and you will join this army to reduce the upkeep costs, and then I guess you're going to follow along. I don't think you can get intercepted. I think you should be too far from the enemy to be worried about that. Alright, looks good to me. And we'll keep an eye out on another unethical guy, because that's the kind of thing we're into. Callus is nice as well, but not as good as unethical for the Infernal Guard-style armies. Anyway. Well, we could do this in a siege battle, but... I'm actually really surprised that they wouldn't sally out with a full stack and an elite garrison. If the roles were reversed, I mean, the Lizards have a massive advantage here. Really? You're going to leave? Oh, game. Why? Why you do this? I wanted to fight both stacks at once. Come on, man. Why you holding out on me, man? Oh. Alright, well, Gordas, I guess, are gonna hunt him down and fight him one-on-one, while the rest of you, I guess, will attack this. Let's do this real quick. It's medium casualties. This will auto-resolve, because it's 3 armies versus 1, and then we'll one-on-one with Gordas. Assuming he doesn't take a massive amount of damage. Hey, it's okay. The cutthroats got hurt, but that's fine. And obviously this is going to be a tower. I can't believe he ran away. He had 2 stacks. What is this AI? And SFO makes the AI less cowardly, so how cowardly was it in the first place to have attempted to run away from this? Unbelievable. Anyway, Masterful Architects for you, and we will be building those strip mines. In fact, start on the basic strip mines right now, and we can upgrade to the next level shortly. We are already accepting labor here, and we are looking to get more raw materials, so that's going to be the ticket here in this particular province. Yes, Gordas, I promised you a fight, and a fight ye shall have, so let's level you up and let's head on in. Let's get you fated, trying to get towards Sneaky and that stock and Vanguard deployment for the entire army. One-on-one. Well, I mean, I guess we'll move this guy in. We won't reinforce, I just want to leech the XP. That's the only reason. We won't use his units. Alrighty, and there we go. Pyrrhic victory casualties high. That's a little bit better, especially since we're a little bit hurt. I like it. Fight. Alright, here we go. It's a big old Pilosaurus, not nearly as big as if they had not been cowards and stayed for the siege, but oh well, we'll have a nice little one-on-one between them and Gordas' army and see how our hobgobs, damaged as the throat cutters are, especially. Let's see, down to about 40% HP. Yeah, we're really not going to be able to use them all that much in this particular battle, but that's alright. Saurus are quite slow in the same way that dwarfs are slow, and we should be able to get plenty of harassment going with our light cav. The Wolf Raiders will first obliterate the enemy skin cohort with javelins, also not to be underestimated any more than hobgobs are to be underestimated, as those javelins do hit real hard. But we got them out of the way, and thus they won't be able to fire back upon our range units. Units of Saurus spears with shields charging forth, but look at that. They've lost about half of their HP to the 2 units of Sneaky Gits chucking their daggers at them, which is pretty solid. That's before they enter the fray as well. And enter the fray they shall, allowing the enemy to charge in, but we should be able to rip those Saurus apart. And now they were bleeding, they were damaged, and they were poisoned, and they get torn apart just as they move on. And of course our precursor weapons are extremely limited, and we're pretty much out, but, well, what can you do? The enemy lord is on a cold one and attempts to reach our light cav to hunt down those wolf raiders, but unfortunately we stop him in his tracks with the tormentor sword carried by our demon smith, and then obliterate him with sustained range fire. Cold one, feral cold ones rather, are attempting to charge our main line. We did have to summon our emergency fireborn over on the right flank in order to protect our hobgobs, both the archers and the shielded ones. And the Kadai should have no trouble clearing out the feral cold ones, certainly not something that they are meant to fight. Otherwise, the Saurus continue moving towards us and continue taking damage, but we have not yet engaged, really, with melee at all, other than a couple of times with the hobgob Sneaky Gits, but then only at a point where the enemy was already severely damaged. Time for a little bit of a fight here, however, as some Saurus with clubs but without shields move in, but don't move in for too long as they were already severely damaged by the range cav by the time they had arrived. Alright, looking pretty darn okay so far. The enemy continues on their approach, but we have plenty of ammunition remaining, and thus every single source unit will be heavily damaged, just like those that we have engaged so far. Skinks move up and in range of our range units, and the skink cohort of javelins, it gets obliterated rather quickly as it is a priority target, so that it can't fire back upon us. We have our melee cav support coming in as well as the dire gobs and charge into the back line of the enemy's source, and together between them and the sneaky gets crush the enemy's left flank. Looks like the balance power has already shifted to about 90% in our favor, and this is not going so well for the enemy army. Not going so well at all. Flaming Sword of Ruin will buff up our blob of ranged units as well as the archers land arrow after arrow into the line of source. Shielded or not, they will take sufficient damage for them to rout, and it looks like those were the last units willing to attempt to fight this. The gobs carry the day yet again. Really loving the gob army. It does feel like we have to work for our wins, but when you give them the time of day to micro them, they really do put in good work and punch way above their weight, thanks to Gordas' buffs. All right, there we go. I guess we can see why the AI wanted no part of that and decided to attempt to sail away. Unfortunately, that didn't work out so well either. We got lots of damage on our wolf raiders, the major marauders, direbog hunters, and safety inspectors all roughly tied with each other, with the hogwargs just beating out the dire gobs. For the archers, the hand of the overseer and the squealing swamplings. For the cutthroats, and at 22k, the trustworthy gets once again for the stabby guys, the sneaky gets. With the hogboglins not too far behind. Alright, we are going to transport those captives once again. Alright, finally starting to rack up the cash again. Love to see it. Armor of the Forge for Vrogny the Grey, sure, you can have that. And Herok the Breaker has a Lamassu, sure. Fencer of Blades. Do we actually want you on the Lamassu? I mean, it will... Well, actually, we want you on a Bale Taurus so that you can have the breath, but you don't have that yet, so we'll get you that after. Gordas, you're in range of a sea corpse. I guess we can head over there while we're here. I'm a little bit worried about getting vision of... we got vision of them now, don't we? I think we do. And, oh no, it's gonna kill one of our cutthroats here. Sorry, I'm gonna... I mean, they do have some depth guard, but no, I'm gonna manually fight this just super quick because we're obviously not gonna lose a unit to this. That would be silly. And the fact that we've gained vision of the other lizard faction means we do have to more or less start fighting them. Gordas can more or less go out and begin fighting them rather quickly, but the other two armies need to retrofit because they've been waiting for units. And we were just getting gold climbing once again, but by the looks of it, it won't last too long. Oh well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, start deployment real quick, and... Oh, it doesn't count as if we're the ones attacking, so we can't see the enemy army. It's a little bit irritating, but what can you do? Let's get you guys on... Maybe here, maybe that's a little bit too far. And then you guys approach it this way. Archers move forward with the... cutthroats behind them. I probably should have leveled, but whatever. And then you guys are Vanguard deployable, so you can go over here. Come on now. Alright, there we go. All over there. Gordas and Co. are out here as well. You guys can be group 2. 3. You guys can be group 1. Just use you together because it's just going to be a quick battle. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright. Looks good to me. You guys move forward a teensy bit. You guys can get ready to move in. Gordas and Co. And you guys take position out here. Fire away, but don't get too close to the enemy units of range. And just back away a teensy bit, just wait a little bit, get those, back off. And try to focus down the depth guard, and in fact, let's have you pop off a fireball on the depth guard. And just because we can. And, okay, they're going to cast something. And, okay, we are getting ready to move. We got 10 more seconds until we can go. What we can do now, though, is summon a blob of gobs. We'll have a good fashion blob of gobs. There we go. Depth guard are moving in numbers, but that's just fine. We'll charge into the rear lines of these. Daggers have been thrown. That's what we've been waiting for. Blood and Fireborn are now up and running. You guys back up. Gordas head into the depth guard, though it looks like they won't be around for too much longer. You guys will charge into the rear of the other depth guard unit. You guys, I'd say fire away at that range unit, though. Maybe we should touch down upon it like so, and then you guys can move forward. Alright, range units are on the approach. You can debuff and strike you. How are you so hurt? I don't think anybody's attacking. I think it was just hurt from before. Which is fine, I guess. Alright, and the oh, wow, you actually did take a volley from the enemy. Let's dodge that. I guess they were shooting you. My bad, my bad. Alright, but otherwise the battle is just about done. Trying to end this quickly. You can charge in. You can charge into melee. And let's have you buff everybody up like so. And range units, try not to damage our own units too much. Armor of Contempt, we are still very much missing that. Alright, everybody else is good? I think everybody else is good. You want to debuff enemy? Oh, you can't. You need to get closer. Alright, and you pop that healing potion, though the enemy won't be around for too much longer. You guys need to stop firing now because you'll damage our own units. And you guys can charge on in. And there we are. One of our units used all of its ammunition. Great, alright. 44 losses, a little bit of extra damage on the Demon Smith Sorcerer. Unfortunately, my bad. I assumed they weren't attacking him, but they very much were. And it seems like every single battle, the Demon Smith Sorcerers do get targeted by the AI just constantly. They'll ignore everything and try to go after the Sorcerers, eh? And for them. It's an important, I mean, I would expect a player to do much the same, so why not? Gotta maybe be a little bit more careful with them, keep them closer to the back lines. Let's see if we get any useful labor out of that. It's a very small fight. Still 300 plus 140, which ain't too bad. We could, however, heal up, but more likely than not, we'll return to our own territory to heal up for at least a turn. So grab the labor for now. Yeah, just grab the labor. Alrighty, and yeah, so they have 4 territories, so all the way to the edge of this. Well, at least that essentially shores up our border. Crown of Command, not going to be super useful to us, unfortunately. And you can just reach the Bay of Storms. Perfect. Vragni, you're going to move back to the Haunted Gorge, where we will start building your new units. I guess we could even potentially build the Fire Enclave and get you your Bale Tauruses. Maybe not immediately, but shortly. You can leave the settlement, because the healing of the laborers doesn't really matter as much, and then we'll pop you into channeling and have Middle Manager Stormbreaker heal instead. I could probably besiege this and then jump over here next turn or so. I think that'll work out quite nicely. Alright, what else do we have? DR Grim, you need to now... I mean, I guess we could meet up at the Tower of Gorgoth. So go to the Tower of Gorgoth for the turn, and then heal up there, and then T.A. Asgal, you will transfer to him the units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons that they've been missing. I guess we can name a couple of them while we're at it, since... yeah, and now the Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great axes, they have the big hats, the much bigger hats than the regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors. So, one of you will be Mad Hatters, and then you will be Axes of Azgorh. Lovely. And then you, well, I guess you can sit in Tower of Gorgoth right after this. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, Grim, you're on your way now to head up the causeway and finally deal with the Darklands bandits. They've been quite the annoyance. Granted, they only sent one army at us, but, well, I think that Drazhoath holds a grudge. He's somewhat known for it, so yeah. Oh! Okay, we just started suffering attrition now. Okay, I thought we had already suffered attrition and it was about to be real salty about the whole situation. Anyway, you're gonna move on in a second. Let's have Corporate Spy, which apparently also there was a comment to name him Corporate Spy, so I had the exact same idea. Can't have an original thought, Ruinous. Good job, man. Let's see. I don't like the low chances. We need to bounce between two different territories, don't we? So where? This is all one territory. Wait, actually, these are two different territories. Just that you have a lower chance here. Wait. 47, 53, 50. 47, 53, 46. Huh, I don't know. Just do it. And he succeeded. Good job, buddy. Good job. Let's max out wound, I guess. We gotta still get to steal technology again. And let's also check capacities of other guys. Let's see who we got here. And the bully is gone, but we weren't gonna pay all that cash at that moment. We do have another Demonsmith Sorcerer, but we actually want a Sorcerer somewhere, so we'll be adding that in a bit. Next up. Armaments. Okay, where we've been saving up, we're gonna have to spend some to power, at the very least, the Kadai up, and the most important thing is to get them unbreakable. No, actually, we don't have it unlocked, do we? It's here. Alright, so let's get another capacity like so. Forge Fire and Missile Block Chance. I mean, we don't necessarily need a lot of stuff. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. We don't have a ton of Kadai right now, so let's do Unbreakable plus the Barrier and the Missile Resistance as well. Frankly, honestly, the upkeep cost isn't too bad right now because we don't have a crazy amount of them on field. I would like to get them either Perfect Vigor or the Missile Block Chance. I don't remember whether you can do 4 or 5 here. I think Zatan can do 2 more, so I assume we can do 4 and then Zatan can do 6, maybe? Or maybe we can do 4 and Zatan can do 5. I guess we're about to find out. Anyway, let us go back into... I don't know why I left that menu. Here, get another Destroyer capacity, which unlocks Missile Block Chance. I'm not going to spend any more armaments to unlock Perfect Vigor as yet, but might do so later. Let's do... Unbreakable, Barrier, Missile Resistance, and... wait, so you can only do 3? Maybe there's a technology that'll enable us to do another one. I guess we'll want the straight-up Missile Resistance, then the Missile Block? 35% Missile Block Chance or Missile Resistance. 15%. I'm not sure. Let me just see here. These guys have 20% missile resistance as base, and then these guys have no missile resistance whatsoever, just some physical. Isn't blocking 35% of all shots better than... I think it's better than essentially resisting at 15% all or is it actually? This is okay. This is essentially blocking is 1 in 3 shots get blocked, right? Just take the block. Take the block. And yeah, we can't get any of the others. I gotta double check the text to see whether we can actually do any more than 3. Apply. Alright, that's that for now for you guys. What about the rest of this? So, melee infantry, we have everything available to us. Immunity to contact effects is so good that I think we're going to get it, especially as there are just some really nasty contact effects in SFO. This is, however, going to be a lot more upkeep than before, because we have a lot more of these guys. Damn. What about missile infantry? Wait. Oh, right, I was having that thought about the suppressive fire versus anything else. Extra reload, we're not really running out of ammunition right now, and the Vanguard deployment isn't useful to us because these guys can't Vanguard deploy anyway. Although it is kind of an interesting... idea for some armies, especially with Gobbo armies, just Vanguard deploy a bunch of blunderbusses into the enemy's face. Kind of interesting. Yeah, let's do immunity to contact effects. I know it's crazy expensive, but we'll upgrade the We'll upgrade the armaments to counteract that. Alright, what about war machines? We could get something. Maybe the barrier hit points, if nothing else? Let's do that. Alright, that's enough for now. We are down to 1233, but our armies are a lot stronger. Let's do whatever building we can, and then head on in for a nice big old fight, I guess. Although, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of raw materials, so even if we do get a ton of labor to rush stuff, we won't actually be able to... okay, but also, we're at -10 now, so let's get some example. Even if we get a bunch of labor, we won't be able to do too much with it. Dragon's Breath is a new territory? Is it this territory? Yeah, alright, wait. Let's transfer some labor to this place, so that it starts getting positive labor. I guess we could do the same to Scalded Delta as well. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then Scalded Delta and Dragon's Breath, like so. And then immediately go for control. And... wait. Oh, I pressed Lower River Ruin. I pressed the wrong one. Okay, well, whatever. Too late. Control 15. And yeah, I didn't notice that it goes back up every single time you click those. I remember being mildly annoyed at that previously, but anyway, set an example. Alright, good enough for now. Almost tempted to say we shouldn't do this right now because we have so much labor that we wouldn't be able to immediately put to use. But I guess we could just rush a few things and pick some stuff. There are towers that are being constructed. Granted, their new levels probably won't be worth too much right now, but it's probably better that we use the labor rather than, well, not. This is probably also going to give us some money, so that might fix some of the issues. Yeah, whatever. Let's do this. I can't pass up the opportunity. So, you are currently at war with Challengers of Khorne, who you will ask to do this. Join war against Sires of Morcaine. Like so. For money. I still haven't decided whether we want to align with them. I just really don't like the fact that they have a territory that we potentially want for ourselves. This is all probably occupied by Clan Krizor. I wonder how they feel about Clan Krizor. You know, I suppose what we could do is we could defensive alliance with them, and if we don't like it, later on we could just cancel it. I mean, we did the same thing with the Pallid Nurslings, right? And this will give us a vision down here and allow us to see what's going on, so... Plus it'll give us a 2.7k, so why not? Let's do this for now. Let's see what we're looking like out here. Alright, so these guys have the Bone Gulch and a few other things here. Vaults of Plenty. Oh, that doesn't really do anything. It's kind of a terrible landmark. I mean, a little bit of money, but casualty or punishment rate not faction-wide growth in the place. Although it does bother me that these guys have a landmark which we could potentially hold ourselves. Yeah, there's some good provinces here. Lots of 4 territory provinces, eh? But we can't have all the territory. We're not going to do a world conquest of Old World. That would be insanity. Anyway, Drazhoath. Gigantic battle time. I'm wondering which of the enemy armies we should we draw these guys in as a reinforcement to have the Terrorgeists and the threatening units join in? I think we should. Or maybe we should attack them. Well, then the Terrorgeists would be able to menace us, but the other units would be too slow to reach us. Maybe we could just destroy the first army and then deal with the rest after. Let's try it. Here we go. I'm so freaking excited. Alright, look at all that. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. This army is moving in, so that's the garrison force, isn't it? 2 Vargulfs, Hex Wraiths. The Terrorgeists, another Vargulf, and yeah, just tons and tons of stuff. Can we pull this off? Let's find out. Alrighty, I saw the map start to load and I immediately realized the AI is screwed. They are completely utterly screwed. There is nothing they can do here. Oh wow, our Infernal Ironsworn look fantastic, and the lighting here, absolutely loving it. But anyway, we have a choke point battle, the best kind of battle for the dwarfs, and we will certainly take advantage of it. The enemy is milling around the choke, hoping perhaps that we don't get through it or whatever. I don't know what they think they're going to get out of this. But we're going to start by damaging them. Looks like, unfortunately, we'll only just slightly clip them with the Flames of Azgorh, but we got more damage where that comes from. Drazhoath and Cinderbreath working on the enemy with Spell and with Fire Breath as the Kadai use their movement speed to move on in. The Infernal Ironsworn and the Fireglaves are going to take much longer to get here, but by that time, this first little army will have been severely damaged by the Kadai. And it's pretty glorious to allow them a chance to shine as well. Gonna drop whatever bound army abilities we have into the enemy blob here as we want to occupy this choke point before the 3 other armies arrive. But assuming we can fill the choke point with Ironsworn, which by the looks of the fact that their well-ordered regiments are arriving, we should have no problem whatsoever holding back the tide of undeath. Especially weak against fire as they are. And there we go, look at those destroyers working through the blobs. This is also fantastic. Technically not their debut battle anymore, but damn are they gonna have the most fun in this one and just rack up those kills. And I'll be very curious to see how many kills they get. We are already at 100 kills and 12,000 damage on these guys. Not too bad at all. And they're fighting in the Ash Storm, the Ash Storm now as well. The twin axes of the Kadai also tearing through zombies and ghouls and skeletons alike. Still can't help but cheer for the undead a little bit, but yeah, they don't have a prayer here. Tactically, though, there isn't really anything to say about this right now. It's just a big old choke point, and we've occupied the location that we want to be in. The enemy armies are now arriving, and we've got 3 more stacks to deal with. But we are now in position. Our magma cannons have just arrived on top of the hill. Our units of Fireglaves now will be able to add fire support to all this, which is going to be much needed as the enemy's other armies that are going to move in have Terrorgeists, Vargulfs, Crypt Horrors, all stuff that we'll probably want to snipe with our range rather than take on with the melee units. Although I think either one would have been successful. Anyway, the first of the enemy hosts is destroyed. Another vampire joins the fray, running really quickly. As vamps and SFO move about as fast as cavalry do, which is nice. As fast as slow cavalry at any rate. They move about 60 move speed, so twice the speed of infantry and about the speed of Chaos Knights and similar sort of heavy cav. But obviously slower than light and medium cav. Anyway, the Infernal Ironsworn looking fantastic as they hold back the tide together with the Kadai. The Destroyer is absolutely towering over the formations of undead below, and Drazh and Cinderbreath in the middle of the fray the entire time, trying to fight and focus down the enemy Strigoi Lord as well as the enemy Vampire Lord as well. And now, of course, Drazh is a lot weaker now that he doesn't use that thing that gives him the hunger as well as that extra ward save. And I'm still thinking we might eventually put it back on him. I'll think about it. Well, like I said before, there may be other options, like to give it to Ostrogoth instead. It's just that Ostrogoth is a much smaller target than Drazh. But anyway, it looks like a Terrorgeist has landed, but unfortunately for it, it will lose about 3/4 of its HP to sustained fire from our various units of lasers, and that looks like they will bring the Vargeist down. Beautiful. Just as this Vargeist falls, however, another one enters the fray, having arrived right in the middle of this blob. They will, I'm sure, do at least a little bit of damage and debuff us with those Terrorgeist shrieks of theirs. But they're not getting past the Ironsworn, that's for sure. And even with the sheer amount of enemies still approaching, the Ironsworn are all cheering, raising their axes to the sky, because they know that the dead only approach their own destruction. And the choke point continues filling with more and more undead. Another very nice volley into the enemy Terrorgeist will bring it down, though it looks like the Destroyer got the final hit. Absolutely beautiful, and as the reinforcements arrive, they are getting pelted by shots from our magma cannons. A few misses here and there, but generally looking pretty darn good. And you gotta love a nice choke point battle. And I'm sure Drazhoath loves these choke point battles as well. He does have his Flames of Azgorh to rely upon after all. And as soon as the enemy reaches enough of a critical mass, a big enough blob of infantry, we'll drop another Flames of Azgorh right into them. And would you look at that, some ghosties have arrived as well. That's a pretty decent target for Flames, I would imagine. Although, frankly, our army is probably a very bad army for ghost armies to fight. We have magical damage, I think, on every single unit in the army. And so the ghosties' main thing, their physical resistance really isn't going to help them out. Anyway, finally, it's time for the, I think, third Flames of Azgorh right in the middle of that blob of undead. We can see the ghosts melting away. Crypt Core survived, but, well, not too much else, at least where the flames hit. But there's plenty more undead where that came from. In fact, there are still reinforcements to arrive onto the field. I see 2 more Vargulfs, Vargeists, Hex Wraiths, Black Knights, and a bunch of other stuff. We got some Necromancers. I think a Vampire ran into here, as well as another Necro. The fight is still going on. Basically 7 minutes of non-stop pitched battle against the undead hordes, but we continue to hack, slash, burn, and etc. our way through them. A random Infernal Ironsworn facing off against the Strigoi here until said Strigoi gets pushed back by one of the Kadai and is in pretty bad shape. Probably used to being surrounded by his ghoul court, or flesh eater court, but it looks like they are all pretty much having a difficult time actually even getting at this point to our Ironsworn. Only some are making it through the barrier of those swinging axes and swinging whatever the heck those weapons are of the Kadai. As in the big old punch daggers that the destroyers have. I guess that's what we're calling those. Also nice to see those magma cannon shots scream into the enemy from above. Balance of power is still only about 70%, maybe even 65% in our favor, just due to the sheer amount of enemies that are still on the approach. And damn, this is an absolutely glorious choke point battle. So many units. I wonder how many we would have been able to hold off before we run out of ammunition, before we ran out of everything. And here comes yet another Flames of Azgorh into the arriving zombies and skeletons, tearing through their ranks once again and putting Mr. Drazhoath up to 2.5 thousand kills and crusting 300,000 damage. Alright, that's going to be hard to beat for the rest of this campaign. You're gonna have to maybe somewhere like Nagashazar, somewhere with just a ludicrous numbers of enemy units. For those who watch the Himric campaign, those are Phaedon and Michaela kind of numbers. Although Phaedon basically got those numbers in like every single battle, which was absolutely insane. What a menace to society. And I love the fact that she was a life lord. This is just, I don't know, I just find that very funny. Anyway, looks like the last of the enemy elite reinforcements have arrived into the choke point. The others moving in are by and large zombies and skeletons, but the Vargulf and the Hex Wraiths and all that have arrived. Will they be able to find purchase through our battle line? I don't think so. We have taken some damage, though. We can see that the Nova Corps elite have lost about 20% of their HP. In fact, all of the Ironsworn have shed about 20, maybe even 30% of their HP in some cases, but their unit losses are relatively minimal. 5 units lost on the most, I think, damaged unit. I see 7 units lost in another, but really not so bad. Less than 10% losses on the Ironsworn. Yet another Flames of Azgorh comes down, and I'm sure many a Hex Wraith will dissipate. And just a few more units to cut our way through. There we go. It looks like the entire enemy army is beginning to crumble. Frankly, we were cutting through the enemy so fast that our units of range weren't even able to provide nearly as much support as they'd like. One of our destroyers did take damage, however. They were out in front taking the charges for quite a bit of that battle. The problem with them and the Ironsworn here is that the Kadai all sort of jump forward, and it kind of forces them to not be sort of interspersed in the line with the Ironsworn. Plus, we kind of want to keep the Ironsworn back a little bit. Alright, and by keeping back like that a little bit, they'll still drop a few of their remaining charges into the enemy blobs. They did still have a fair few remaining because it was a non-stop battle. And the enemy is still coming in 11 minutes in. Ah, what a fantastic choke. Man, we got we're really favoring the massive amounts of undead in terms of the fights in this particular campaign, aren't we, after that quest battle? I do wonder how that quest battle would have gone for us with this particular army rather than the tier 2 army that we had used at the time. Anyway, we're going to move our Kadai away. The lasers didn't have quite the chance to play around as they might have liked to, so we're just going to let them shoot some zombies in a choke point. That's like fish in a barrel. And gun them down just for fun. And that looks pretty darn nice as well. The zombies trying to move on in while the lasers scream overhead. Frankly, we're likely to do more damage to our own Infernal Ironsworn by stray shots of lasers than the enemy is. It's not like zombies will do damage to them. And there we go, last of the zombies melt away. Looks like the Kadai found another unit to surround, and with that, this absolutely massive battle is ours. A heroic victory, but I think we knew how it was going to go as soon as we saw that choke point. If the enemy had A, waited until they had critical mass, and B, had a regular battle rather than a choke point battle, it could have at least maybe surrounded us and prevented our range units from firing, prevented us from having a sort of a blob type of Death Star of fire units, which I'm sure the vampires would prefer to have themselves, but it worked out much better for us than it did for them. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I am very fulfilled by that particular fight. Drazhoath racking up 2,760 kills and 336,000 damage with his Flames of Azgorh. And yeah, the only way that could have gone better is if we had Dreadquakes. I mean, we, a dwarven army, getting a choke point battle, which is kind of ideal for us, plus against a foe that is generally weak to fire, as it has an innate fire weakness to most of its units. Absolutely perfect. Damage-wise, let's see how we did. At 61k, the Ashbringers, at Legion of Doom at 57k, not too far behind. The two destroyers wading through the piles of enemies in the Furnace of Wrath, living up to its name, with 64,000 4,000 damage. The entire tide held back by our units of the Infernal Ironsworn and Drazhoath's Dreadguard and the Nova Corps Elite not too far behind from each other, whereas... That's interesting. The Glare of Azgorh considerably outdoing the others. I guess between the War Banner increasing their reload and on top of the fact that they have a higher veterancy is actually surprisingly significant. 36k damage versus 17, 18, 12, and 15. Pretty massive difference. Could it just be the veterancy on the banner? Interesting. Interesting. Either way, a very, very fun fight. 232 on the Demonsmith Sorcerer. Alright, he didn't do much, but he did kill 3, probably zombies or something. But damn, Drazh, you cleaned house. 1,743 labor, right? I feel like we got more from fighting... From fighting Gorst. Did we not? It's not that it's not a great amount of labor. I feel like we got 2.2k at some point. Did we not from fighting 2 of Gorst's stacks? Why did we get less here? We fought 4, and there were a lot of infantry as well. Well, not that I'm complaining, mind you, I would fight that battle all day, every day, and I don't think I could get bored, because damn is it fun. Transport captives, please. Such as they are. Some of these armies are gonna back away, and hopefully the full stacks remain. Now, we're not gonna be able to chase most of them down, but we will, or should, be able to auto-resolve the remains here. Oh, this poor faction. Wow, did these guys just get most of their units surviving? Oh, this is an army that didn't participate. Okay, fair enough. Great Taurus and an Outrider's handgun. We should at least get a bigger item reward for that. Come on, game. Hey, Hashid's Dark Ravagers on the field. Not quite right on time, but getting there. As we'll want those to be the personal guard of Astragoth Ironhand, as he will soon be serving Drazh. I guess in that particular battle, we could have probably used the Hellhammer through the Blob. Though, granted, we get Flames of Azgorh cheaper, so it's probably generally better to be using it. But, you know, sometimes if the enemy wants to line up nicely for us, then, well, we'll be using the Hellhammer. So, Hellhammer it is. We'll also want to get Magical Reserves and Arcane Conduit, and keep an eye on the points available to us. You guys, max out Scouting, and definitely get Reforge. Ooh, you know what? Screw Scouting, let's get Reforge and Infernal Engineer. All-terrain vehicle doesn't really help us solve that much, although slightly faster moving artillery is always nice to have, so we will get that afterwards. You... Still haven't decided on whether we should just ignore this and just keep stabilized bipod for the sniper aspect, because we trade Sundering attacks. I mean, we can put Sundering attacks on every single one of our infantry units at the cost of the 10 physical resistance, which isn't too bad. And now, actually, I just wanted to double check. If we go to the top of the military tree, maximum active Hellforge Forgecraft options +2. So yeah, I take it Zatan gets another 1? Or maybe he doesn't and I just dreamt that. I don't know. But yeah, we got to get to that and then we'll be able to get all we want. Or at least most of the stuff we want. Missile resistance and a block for the Kadai. You are trying to head towards restock for the rare event that you run out of ammunition, so let's get you hard to hit. And then, oh, I should have leveled you first. Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Drazh, hit Oscar Barrackmere here. And we'll auto-resolve the remnants of this. We don't need to fight it again. It's probably going to heavily damage our army, but whatever. All good, and we'll get another 843 labor. Plenty of it. I do wonder whether these guys will attempt to besiege us immediately after. We'll see, I guess. Alright, and just before I occupy the place, so this gives us raw materials, eh? So this is going to be a outpost location. Alright, auto-resolve this. It looks like no one will die. I'm a little bit worried about these guys taking... You know what? I'm gonna max speed through this. We need to repair the big boys. The thing is, what I'm worried about it happening is that the auto-resolve has a tendency to bring big single entities down to like 1 HP, and then if the enemy sieges us, we will have those guys take damage, and obviously we don't want that. So let's just take the minute to quickly work through this and heal ourselves to, well, if probably nowhere close to full, admittedly, but just heal ourselves up a little bit. I also noticed that these guys didn't get hurt at all, but all the other Fireglaves, the ones without veterancy, did all get hurt. I wonder why. Maybe that war banner really is super highly valued by the AI. Anyway, just set yourselves up here. Doesn't really matter where. Oh, actually, I know this map. This map, it's better to set up here because you have a nice hill to fire your artillery. And down from, we're gonna wait a little bit back here.
Legion of Azgorh.
All right, just setting you all up. You guys go here, you guys fire at the enemy and then start battle, and then we will speed it up. We want to pop the healing potion and we want to reforge you, big boy. And then we'll want you to reforge big boy again. Wait, you to reforge big boy again immediately after the first reforge ends. Alright, do that. And we'll use all the reforges and then we'll move on in. I mean, I guess you guys can sort of move on in as well. Also, turn off your skirmish mode while you're at it. And just in case those Vargeists come a-calling, and next up you can reforge once again. And I guess we'll get another reforge on the Furnace of Wrath as well. Alright, how about the melee troops? You know what, let's move 2 in, like so. And then the healthier unit like so. And artillery pieces, I mean, I guess you could get a little bit closer. Like so, we got one more reforge available to us. Yes, yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about with needing another demon smith. We don't really have a choice. We need to get one in here because otherwise we won't be able to reforge enough, and it's not a good thing. Anyway, poor Vargeist attempt to move on in, get ripped apart by the Fireglaves. Let's max speed it. Drazhoath move forward, start harassing the enemy. Everybody else move forward as well. I don't think we're liable to take any damage, so Kadai, destroyers and non-destroyers alike, make yourselves into a group and attack. Let's also find the biggest blob of enemies we can find, like right here. Summon the Blood and Fireborn, and get the... I'm going to say... Curse of Hashut on the Vargulf. I don't want to land and take damage, just drop every kind of ability we have on all of these guys. How are we doing out here? Kadai should be tearing through all of those units, and the battle should be ours shortly. Let's have you stop firing for a second. You go kill that vampire. Ooh, actually, no, you're gonna get damaged by the Vargulf. Back away, back away. And the Vargulf should melt away. Ah, they're all going to fire. Oh, nice. Vargulf's gonna charge on in, and let's back the Kadai up before they get damaged. Drazhoath. It always feels so weird playing at max speed. Curse of Hashut. And Dark Subjugation. And don't get hit by the missile troops, and that thing will be done for. We should back you guys up so you don't shoot. And there we go. And, ow. How did you survive, Graveguard? Come on now. That was super necessary, I assure you. Now this way, even if they do besiege us, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but even if they do, our destroyers won't be destroyed by the attrition. Which would just be so awful after that major battle. Call it a little bit of a battle admin post-battle. Alright, and while, I mean, the damage and stuff in this particular battle really didn't matter and all that, it's not really a battle, mind you, it's just the auto-resolve, not being trustworthy at all. Alright, good. And occupy as, I think I said outposts here, outpost it is. I guess one of them will probably have to be a factory, but I guess we'll deal with that later. We'll do you, delete the, well... And it's giving us additional units which might make the enemy not want to besiege us, which means maybe we do attack. Oh wow, these, what the heck? Look at that. Well, these things are actually close in proximity to each other. Wasn't expecting that, but I'm reasonably happy about it. I'm a little bit less happy about the fact that this guy's probably going to go towards Omdra's lair, meaning we probably need to book it on over there. Meaning... I assume you can't... Okay, you're going to take a turn of attrition. We're going to send you here. What is here? Oh, it's a tower. Huh. Okay, well, maybe we'll be able to get you to besiege it or do something about all this. You know, we need to save movement. We need to save movement. We have no choice. We have a Bellicose and a Bilious guy. We can grab this Thirstful guy again and get him some XP. Get you on field, sir. And we will have him attack the ghoul wastes, which will allow Drazhoath to move past the ghoul wastes and then move further closer towards these things. Then hopefully together they will be able to more quickly conquer these things. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if it all works out. Anyway, what do we got otherwise in terms of this turn? Well, we got a lot of labor. Plenty of it, which means we'll be losing a massive amount if we're not careful. We should probably transfer a decent amount to any place that doesn't have the event going. So this place, that's 1, 2, 3... I want to say 4. Did I count this one again? Damn it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. Okay, so I need 1,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,000, and then let's see if I do this right. Not you, right? Okay, so 1, 2... 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and... Oh, I went over on this one, but that's okay. One of them will probably need to start collecting labor anyway, like this one. Alright, so do that, transfer. And then we will... Okay. Set an example. Set an example. Set an example. Okay. For the love of... Set an... Ow. There we go. Set an example and set an example. Now, how were they organized before? I have no idea. That's a question. I assume by labor and workload? Yeah, I think that's the way they were organized before. At least I hope so, because that's what I'm going to go with. Anyway, looks like that's good now. Now we need to spend a little bit of resources. We're probably going to rush a bunch of stuff just because we can. So rush this construct... Oh, wow, 540. Oh, it's because you're in higher quotas, so it's... that's a little bit steep. It's a little bit steep. But you know what? We'll hold off on it. Everywhere else should have masterful architects, so you can be rushed easily. What else do we have here? The armament stuff isn't as critical as money and things like rail networks, but these are quite expensive right now, so maybe not. The Overseer's headquarters is cheap. Tide Chamber is reasonably cheap, but let's take a look at the other stuff first, and we may come back to it. And just want to use as much as we can on all the infrastructure that we can. No armaments, but yes to gold, and... Yeah, again 770. And these can all be rushed. Rush, rush... Rush. Rush. Oh, did I rush anything in the other one? There was nothing to rush in the other one. Oh, I guess we could rush to this and get started on the next one. Go for it. Alright, and we'll just need to save up enough money to be able to transfer some stuff back. We can rush the tower, but we won't have the ability to build another tower. We can rush you, and we can rush you. Alright. Still probably plenty of labor. We won't use all of it, because we'll still want to rush some stuff next turn, but anyway. And this place is building a factory. This is not needed right now. What do we need here? I mean, I guess we will want another lava field, and then we don't need a incinerator here, so I guess that means we'll go for one of these ziggurat tenements. Wait, no, we won't. I lied. We will go for a Tower of Hushud. Looks good to me. Mount Grey Hag. Yes, rush of those. How much is this to build up Tribute Shrine? Yeah, do it. Do we need a incinerator? No, this is for factory locations. I mean, you'll need a tower, but for now, I guess build up the lava fields. We'll need more capacities, more bullies for Ostrogoth. I guess we could rush it immediately and start on the next one. Alright, and we could rush you 210. Yeah, we could do that. That's affordable. It's reasonably affordable. There's other stuff that we... Ooh. Underground caverns, underground caverns. I think maybe this is a good thing to rush right now. Rush it for more raw materials. In fact, that might actually be our priority right now. If there are more, we should do that. We have factories, which we will build next turn once we have the construction cost reduction, and frankly, we may want to rush those. Let's build up the tribute collector. Let us build up a demon smithy in Lamian Ruins. Next up, we have Pig Barter, Trade Wharf. Ooh, you're quite expensive. I want to just get everything started as best we can right now, so let's get you the donation barrel. Although you will want to get the incinerator here as well. But we don't necessarily have to do it now. We can do it after. And we will get the gold sluice up and running. Alright, looks good to me. Depleted mine, you're fine. We can probably rush you afterwards if we can afford it. Rush construction. And then we'll start on the next level of both of these, and then we won't rush them until next turn. Oh, in fact, I probably should have just waited because we can reduce the construction cost. Well, it's 10%. It's less than 200 gold apiece. It's not that big of a deal. Let's instead just start on the first structures of each and not rush any of them. We probably should get the ramparts up and running, and in fact, we can probably rush it. Still have money remaining. Good. Why is this locked? And what the heck happened there? Okay, I don't know why it was like that, but whatever. Go for the donation barrel, we need more money. What do we have here? We can't rush the tower roads, at least we will be able to rush the tower roads, but in a bit. We are completely out of raw material, unfortunately. We'll need to transfer some labor to Haunted Grove. Alright, so Haunted Grove. You're about to get a small influx, let's say 400. Where's Haunted Grove? I guess Haunted Forest, isn't it? Accept. It is costly to do that, but we'll need more to rush the tower here eventually. Anyway, let's get at least this up and running for more public order to surrounding provinces. Let's also upgrade the Demon Smithy and start it up to tier 3. I don't think we need the Fire Enclave, however, and the rest is, I think, fine, unless... Well, we don't need a Incinerator here. We do need the Temple of Hashut and the Sorcerer Prophet's Estate, so that's 2 places, and then we'll have 1 more space, so that's either the Manufactory Complex or the Fire Enclave, or the War level / Ash level. You know what, let's go Ash level. This might actually be a solid place to have all military stuff available, because it's a singular province and it's not really doing us too much value otherwise. Giving us too much value otherwise, you know what I mean. Alright, what else do we have? New Strigos, Red 4, oh yeah, okay, we're gonna ignore that for now. Scalded Delta, we cannot rush anything as yet. I mean, we could if we transferred some stuff. Alright, back from the top. Yeah, we have to do 2 rounds, guys, sorry. Let's take another look here. We could rush the... I mean, it doesn't really do anything for us at this level. So it's probably not worth our time, but we could... It's time to spend some gold. So let us upgrade you. No real reason to rush you. We got stuff to rush next turn, so we don't need to do it right now. And this is good. Let's upgrade you. All the trade goods, because they were otherwise going to be annoying. Any trade goods here that we haven't built? No, we're waiting to build the Tower of Hashut there. We could... Well, you know what? We could rush the factories and outposts. That's probably a good use of our time, and then build the underground caverns, the treasure troves, then factory here. We will want the armament thing once we have it available next turn, and then what can we do here? You can have the goat pastures, and then you, I think, can have nothing. I guess we could build the watchtower. Where is this, by the way? Yeah, this is never going to get attacked by anything, so either we build the Hobgoblin Bivouacs to potentially be able to get Hobgoblins up and running here, or get a little bit more control. We'll probably be holding a decent amount of labor force here, so I now do the control. Alright. Which place was this? This was Nobbler Country. We still have a little bit of cash remaining. I'm certainly still willing to invest it. Salt, for example, and... I think the rest will save in case... Ooh, wait, we can... Oh, wait, no, I didn't rush those on purpose. Let's check how the labor's looking now. Looking a lot better than it was. These guys are all still growing in terms of public order, and while we do still have a fair bit remaining to allow us to rush a couple more towers, we're looking okay. So, Garrison, Lord, Nod, Movement, Unsigned Skill Points, Building Upgrades available, Outpost available with... They have soul grinders and blood shrines, but not skull cannons. Interesting, interesting. But we don't know whether we're going to keep these guys as allies, especially if they try to take territories that should belong to us. Huh, wait. You know what I should have done? Small mistake. What I should have done was had a military agreement with them, and then forced Arbol into a war with Clan Krizor, which we are able to declare war upon now. That's definitely what I should have done. Oh, well, what can you do? And who's Arbol at war with now? Just these guys that we have declared war on? Yeah. Go figure. Alright, well, that's fine. Outpost available, I guess we are ready to end the turn after all that. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here, shall we? I hope I didn't forget anything, because that was a lot. That was a lot of stuff. I feel like the Ghoul King is going to move towards Mawworm's lair, but, well, if he does, he does. I don't think we can do anything about that. We don't really have time to chase him with Drazhoath, most likely. Alright, so unfortunately the guy we summoned outside of this territory got killed. I'm sure some of you are predicting that that would happen as soon as we recruited him and didn't move Drazhoath outside. But I really wasn't expecting the AI to do that and leave units here, because it essentially sacrificed one of their armies to kill a lord of ours that had no levels and wasn't useful anyway. So, whatever. Annoying, but what can you do? Astraturth Heckhart suffered defeat in multiple defensive battles. I have no idea who that is. Who the heck suffered defeat in multiple defensive battles? Was that the guy that died? I have no idea who suffered defeat in multiple... Yeah, okay. That was the guy that died. That was very confusing. Alright, free War Hydra and a Spiked Whip. More sundering attacks should we want them to do so. Man, we have a lot of competing... Another Navigator. We have a lot of competing sort of effects on units, and we're not really... Well, we're obviously not using all that many. Kind of surprising. Anyway, this guy... We'll lose the Spiked Whip, we'll actually give that to a fighter, and we will give you... I don't know, put this to tier 2. Something like that. Alrighty, and you're still on the way. You're gonna be 2 turns until you're back into it. Ooh, hello. Ward save for the entire army, Metallic Resilience, this guy's pretty good. Okay, I will get you on field. And we got 2 turns, so we'll just send... Okay, we'll add Master. And we'll just send him to Grimdracore as well. And just to pick up a couple of extra units. Don't bother. Oh! Grimdracore is sell off armaments? That's not bad. Yeah, go sell off armaments. Why not? We can pretty much always have a convoy going to Grimdracore. I guess that works out for us. Anyway, let's see. What do we have after all that? So, Draj, if you go after this guy, I assume, or at least I hope that you'll... Okay, he's gonna move away, and... He's gonna move way too far. Yeah, I hate when they do that, but we have to go here. We have to go here, and we have to take ghoul wastes for ourselves, and then try to book it on over here before these guys take it from us. Their army might be, hopefully, too weak for them to actually do that, but anyway. Oh, we still got decent units here. Black coaches, we got good stuff. I might actually fight that again. Wouldn't say no to it. Do these guys have enough of a force to take this stuff? They actually might, funnily enough. I'll have to figure out what to do with that. We could temporarily summon the Hashut Dark Ravagers, which would probably prevent them from doing this. Even with the basically non-existent piles of units here. It would be a fairly big investment. I will think about it. Draj, you hold off and wait there. And ooh, we're just a little bit of Conclave influence away from our first Confederation. In fact, if we wanted to, we could sell off a couple, 400 labor and then pick up the Confederation right now. If we wanted to. Or we could give the others one more turn of a chance to grab Mutator and then not have to waste 300 Conclave influence. Anyway, what hasn't changed is the fact that middle manager's Stormbreaker has to go over here. Like so, and I'm willing to bet that these guys will sally out and attack us since they have the guard. Right, you're able to... Oh, you're actually able to besiege them. Fantastic. And, oh wow, okay. Dropping frames all over the place. And flames all over the place. Hey, that worked out. With both of these armies, this is kind of meh. Honestly, compared to what we fought, this is, yeah. Oh, it'll kill off one of the poor little laborers. Yeah, we got more lizards to fight as we go south. There's no need to do this again. Let us occupy this... Oh, no, I forgot. Factory. Because it has a coastline. It is a coastline, yes. Alright. And spell resistance for Nabua. Who is Nabua? He's an overseer. He doesn't need the obsidian amulet. That's for mages. It's called a Delta Tepuk Spawn Destroyed. Lovely. You're gonna obviously go into Masterful Architects. And Mordem, you are still following along. This also means that Nabua can start moving this way. We'll need to get him some units. You know what? We'll probably have somebody recruit... Where is the closest place where we can make artillery? Here, right? We don't have the ability to build hell cannons yet. You know what? Build the Grand Manufactory here. Again, we maybe want to do the same thing at the Haunted Grove as well. But anyway, build the Grand Manufactory here for now, and maybe we'll either send you... I don't want to summon another one. This guy's in 3 turns. It's a little much. And we don't have anybody... Well, this guy would act as a good troop ferry / recruiter because of the campaign movement range, but it's just not as good as the considered ones. So yeah, Mordrim Unzalid, you're going this way. We're going to use you to recruit and then ferry some artillery over to Nabua, who will be starting on Hag Grief. And then once we link up with Draj, once he's finished up with the Sires of Morcaine, or the whatever they're called, it's Sires of Morcaine, then we'll go up to the Pallid Nurslings, because we still have to deal with them. While Gordas starts moving towards the Itza tribe. Vrangni, you are moving towards Haunted Grove, wherein you will be recruiting some stuff for yourself, because you need to have an army that actually functions, without having the need of other units in here. Also, you leave the army and then get back in the army, because it's annoying me that the 2 bull centaurs aren't beside each other. Although... now I feel like the Sorcerer Prophet and the Demon Smith should be beside it. Whatever. Alright, well, if it bothers anybody other than me, I'll change it. Anyway, you are going into stockpiling. We're trying to get to that construction cost for tower reduction and then all the way through to labor organization while we're here. There's some good stuff in this chain, generally speaking. And it will probably want to max out industry now that we're going heavy on economy. It's not like we need the buffs for our military all that much yet, and while it would be nice to have the Architect's Decrees, I think there may be better stuff to be had here. Maybe. Anyway, Kuntij, you also technically need artillery in the form of more skullcrackers, but I suppose... You know what you could do? Go here, or go here, pick up that mysterious island. Oh, you know what? March stance. Go pick up this mysterious island. We've gotten vision of these guys anyway, so it's fine. There's a full stack here. Maybe we can have you attack Dread Rock while Gordas lands at Grundadrak's Vengeance. Let's give you aggression. And Mathan's Blessing and a little bit of cash, and then you can start moving this way, assuming these guys can't reach you, which it looks like they can't. You can grab this mysterious island as well. And then maybe even grab that Remnants of Battle. Oh, lovely. Something for you to do. And then we will want to pick up that Skull Reef with Gordas. There's value down here. And then possibly also pick up that those oil rigs for ourselves. I wonder if they have any neat resources over there. And you, sir. I guess what we could do with you, I don't like the idea of this guy not moving, so what we'll do is we'll summon the Bellicose guy. We will probably have him command a different army, but for now... For now, he'll command this one. Let's get you Adjutant and Armorer. And because, obviously, these guys are good as they are. I mean, I suppose we could have leveled some of the considered guys just to get them more recruiting buffs. Yeah, actually, wait. Do they have anything that further... it gets you serve or die, but you have to be a fairly high level in order to get it. Probably a waste of our time, eh? Rather than a lord that we could eventually use to actually lead a proper stack. I think that's fine as it is. Who else? Diargrim, you are where you're supposed to be. H. Jarbaz, the headhunter, you're fine. And human resources, you're fine. Talent agent, you're fine. Human resources, you're fine. And is there one more than me? Okay, well, whatever. Corporate spy, you. What are we at here? 4852 versus 4852 still. Okay, we'll try this again. I guess we're just gonna keep annoying these guys. Hey, another success. This guy's been doing good. Shockingly good. Good for him. I will maybe want another one operational. Anyway, time to fight another fight. I guess Drazhoath, you're still a little bit damaged, but hey, that gives us another opportunity to heal up those big boys once again. Let's get you your points applied, and we're gonna go with Arcane Conduit. And do we need to level these guys? Oh, you reach level 10. Let's get you increased mobility, and yes, I'm aware they don't stack. There's a reason I'm doing that. It's so that I don't have to keep bouncing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, it's rank 12. I want the Inspiring Inferno for the upkeep reduction for Infernal Guard and Ironsworn. Let's get you We Are the Elite. Max that out as soon as possible. Power up all of our range damage, and then you are trying to head towards restock, so get you hard to hit, buddy. And then last but not least, I guess we want... You know what, let's start with all-terrain vehicle just for the war machines to be able to travel a little bit faster. Alright, fight this again. It's still solid army, especially considering we have a lot less HP than we had throughout the entire big fight, and I'm willing to bet that this one won't be a choke point battle. Oh, that lighting works really well with the Baal Taurus there. But anyway, here we go. The dead have risen and are in it for another battle against us. We are damaged this time around, and they still have plenty of decent units remaining, so we'll see how it goes for them. We do now have Vanguard deployment on our magma cannons, however, which makes it easier to position them in a good, well position, and they will immediately start the battle off in range of the enemy army and firing upon the enemy Graveguard here. Gotta try to knock out as many of them as we can while we take up our own position. Okay, that one hit a skeleton warrior unit, but it's a Graveguard that we'll mostly be focusing on. And I still really like these sort of undead swampland territories. They're really fun to fight in. Lots of different types of terrain. We got impassable terrain, we got water, we got trees. It's a really good map. Really good map. Anyway, we do seem to have an enemy army moving in from more or less behind us than the two armies in front of us, which might make this reasonably interesting. We're going to have to wait and see. Anyway, as usual, Drazhoath will move in by himself. He's not really afraid of anything here, and that includes the bats and the Terrorgeist, and will breathe fire, or Cinderbreath will breathe fire upon the Graveguard below. Oh, I do like the Graveguard with the white color scheme. So frankly, I think I say this at every single time I see a Graveguard in a color scheme I hadn't seen before, and every single time I'm like, ooh, I like the Graveguard with this color scheme and this color scheme. Maybe I just like Graveguard, and ooh, nice shot from those magma cannons into those bats. They blobbed up around Drazhoath and got hit very, very hard. And of course, Cinderbreath no slouch either, knocking like half a dozen of them out with every blow. The bats only heralded the arrival of the enemy Terrorgeist, but Drazhoath can now duel things like that without too much trouble, at the very least when he gets Dark Subjugation going on the enemy. Minus 27 melee defense, putting down the Terrorgeist's defenses to 0, meaning nearly every hit from Drazh will land, minus the minimum defense or minimum chance to miss. And we're going to follow that up with a nice Curse of Hashut upon the enemy Terrorgeist, and it looks like said Terrorgeist will be torn through by Drazh and by Cinderbreath. And that's a pretty big target, a pretty important critical unit that we will have knocked out, and that the enemy won't be able to rely upon. And we didn't even have to burninate it with spells. Well, I mean, we did cast a few spells, but you get what I mean. Anyway, looks like that's annoyed the enemy army sufficiently, and they are moving towards us. We've deployed in such a way as to protect our flanks and our rear as well, since the enemy is coming in from the left as well. They may very well attempt to surround us. And we're gonna see. And bats will go directly for the fire glaives. It's always interesting to see the AI do that sort of thing. It is programmed to send the bats and things like that after the supposedly fragile range units, but the fire glaives are very much not fragile. 110 armor and solid stats as well. And that's prior to any buffs that we have. We got to remember that we don't have a single point in the red line for Drazhoath as yet. So he's been doing all this without any of his units, whether Kadai or whether Infernal Guard buffed at all. Anyway, looks like another Terrorgeist has arrived, but Drazhoath has already proven his superiority to these things, and this one's already down to 15% of its HP. It did take a fair number of blows from our fire glaives, which now switch to firing upon the newly arrived Vargulf. It does look like an enemy Black Coach has managed to loop around us and get to our back line, but a destroyer has sighted it, and oh my lord, the little Black Coach looks tiny compared to the destroyer, who was just slow motion sort of a fainting, I guess. Looked like it was gonna hit, but it was just like, is he gonna hit the Black Coach or not? But anyway, looks like the Black Coach is very nearly done for. Pretty bad matchup against the Destroyer here, who will give chase to it. Otherwise, it looks like the most enemy units have arrived on our left flank, together with the reinforcing army. It looks like the non-reinforcing armies that we were fighting against, their main forces have decided to hit this flank as well. Hence, our Destroyer, a unit of Kadai, and 2 units of Iron Sworn will hold the place off while we put an Ash Storm down upon them all. The balance of power shifts to about 80%, maybe even 85% in our favor now. Drazhoath has found the enemy lord, and rather quickly defeated him, as he did those 2 Terrorgeists. And yeah, Drazhoath has been an absolute monster in this particular episode, hasn't he? I mean, obviously he's the star of the show, it's his campaign, but the first choke point battle, he got ludicrous amounts of kills and damage, and this one, he's dueling everything. He's dueling Terrorgeists, he's killing lords and other such things. There we go. Let's just say he has come online. Alright, it looks like Graveguard are moving in to support, but I don't think they have much of a chance against the Infernal Iron Sworn, and with, I think, all the enemy lords, with the exception of that Necromancer, their enemy single entity is destroyed, the enemy army is beginning to crumble. At the very least, army losses are certainly there, and have reached critical mass. Alrighty, and with that, the last of the enemy units will melt away. Our summoned Kadai have done their duty and disappear, and just as the enemy army disappears, right on time. One last area of effect attack from Cinder Breath, and a nice pose for a final shot of the star of the show today. Beautiful work, Trash. Alright, another solid fight, and frankly, I'm kind of glad that they got to keep their elite units after the big fight, because that felt very different than the choke point battle for obvious reasons. Now, well done. The magma cannons did particularly well in this particular fight, and in fact, by the looks of it, vastly outdid everyone, though the Nova Corley did very well, and the Furnace of Wrath once again, and the Fire Marshals at 10k over all of the other units of Fire Glaives, plus the Cremation Core back after having been destroyed by the first quest battle, or that quest battle. Bringing it back hard. Anyway, close victory apparently, and I think this place was supposed to be an outpost location, unless I'm mistaken. Or this entire province was, minus possibly a factory, depending on how we decide to do it. And yeah, damn that dead rise. These guys just, well, keep on living, and that's working out so well for us. We will, I think, have to leave the territory this time and summon another lord. Fortunately, there are a couple of needful fire guys, which works out well for us. Well, we can't get you on field, but... And I'm hoping that... you won't be able to reach it anyway. Nah, Okay, that was a bit of a waste. Oh well. I was hoping that we could send one to hit the Tower of Bloody Tooth and then Drazh to hit the other. Huh, Drazh can reach it, but this guy can't. Drazh has that many movement range increases? Seems like a considerable difference. Well, either way, I suppose it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's see. We are... Oh, right, we still have raw materials. Probably a little bit of admin to do, so I think I'm going to call the episode here, and we'll deal with whatever else next time around. Oh, this guy might provide us a vision as to what's in here, but I guess it's another big fat Skaven location. I wonder where Imric is. Has Malice been defeating him? Because we haven't sighted him at all. Malice is at strength rank 74 now and at 9 settlements, meaning... Did he have strength rank 12 and... Wait, he was strength rank, I think 12, and the settlements, I don't remember what they were, but he might have lost an army to Emmerich, which I wouldn't be surprised by. Hey, we've sighted Harganeth, which is fairly distant from us, but... You know what? If we could get a... Oh, we can't get any kind of alliance with him. What if we declare war on the Hunts Marshal's expedition? Still no, eh? We'll keep an eye on Crone Hellebron, because she's far enough away so as to perhaps allow us to be friendly, and that would be great. In fact, we did want to get that trade agreement going with Mulder, who doesn't like our treaties with Disciples of Hashut or the War Host of Jar, which is kind of interesting, but fortunately, we'll be confederating both of them, and that won't be an issue shortly. Huh, we could by declaring war on... Well, no, we probably don't want to declare war on the Ice Court right now, because if we confederate, we'll be right beside... Oh, wow, Astrogoth, what the heck is this? He is still advancing into the Hell Pit. He has nearly gotten the entirety of the gates of Hell here. This is actually kind of interesting. And he is at war with these guys. We could try to let them... We could let them keep it, or... You know what, I gotta think about that. And this is a nice little line of territories, but I was thinking that we would want Mulder as an ally, rather than bother with this. It's not like there are any, trade goods or anything in the deeper sort of portions of the Hell Pit. Just out here in a single set of marble, and it's not like once again, we don't need all the territory. It's a massive, massive map. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to call it here. I'll do a little bit of the admin in between the episodes. Next episode, we will deal with these guys. Probably summon the, temporarily summon the Hashut Stark Ravagers to try to defend Mawworm's lair from these guys coming back, and try to wipe this faction out for good before turning back towards Malice and working on his territories as well, while Gordas starts on the Itza tribe of lizards. Should be pretty fun. Stay tuned for more Chaos Dwarfs. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.